Hi there. Welcome to Nintendo of America headquarters in Redmond, Washington. And thanks for joining us in the latest edition of Nintendo Direct. Whether your game system of choice is Nintendo 3DS or Wii, great games are here now, and there's a lot more headed your way that we can't wait to share with you. First, another addition to the recent string of hits for Nintendo 3DS coming to the Nintendo eShop. We'll take you inside to show you new details on the multiplayer modes in Kid Icarus Uprising. We've got an exclusive first look at Mario Tennis Open, also for Nintendo 3DS. We'll be announcing the winner you chose for the artwork that'll be featured in the packaging of Xenoblade Chronicles for Wii. And finally, we'll give you news on a Wii title that many of you have been clamoring for and maybe thought would never arrive here to the Americas. And with that, first up is a top quality game that features an armadillo in the leading role. Bill Trinan has all the details.
Hi, I'm Bill from the Nintendo Treehouse. This is where a lot of the hard work happens in getting our games into the hands of fans in North America. Unfortunately, I can't take you inside, but later we'll be able to meet some of the people that help bring these games to life. Before that, I wanted to talk a bit about the Nintendo eShop for Nintendo 3DS. Hopefully, you've noticed that the eShop has been on a roll lately. The critically acclaimed game Pushmo, the freeform fun of Freaky Forms, Your Creations Alive, the 12-bit action of Mutant Mudds, and the stylish swordplay of Sakura Samurai Art of the Sword. These great titles and many more have been added to the service in the past few months. And don't forget SwapNote, our new free messaging application that lets you exchange notes featuring full 3D drawing, 3D photos, and sounds with friends who have also downloaded the application. But now, the latest big release for the Nintendo eShop is upon us, Dillons Rolling Western. This game is a unique blend of strategy and action set in a stylish, Old West world, and starring one tough armadillo. The action battle controls feel great as you use the touchscreen and circle pad to roll into enemies and defeat them. You'll also mine the ore and gems you'll need to improve each town's defenses and to build up watchtowers and equip gun towers out on the plain. These towers will help you in your fight to protect the villagers and their livestock from waves of marauding enemies called groks. If you're curious about when you can get your hands on Dillons Rolling Western, I've got good news for you. The full game is available for purchase in the Nintendo eShop right now. It would take even talented players upwards of 20 hours to fully complete the game, so it has a pretty significant amount of content, and is one more reason to jump on the eShop Steam train. Hey John, I know you've been busy, so thanks for taking time out today to talk to me.
It's good to be here.
Finally, March 23rd, Kid Icarus Uprising is launching. And you, of course, have been deep into the localization on this for quite a while. I understand that Masahiro Sakurai is developing the game. And he's obviously the creator of the original Smash Brothers. And what's unique about him is he finds a way to take a seemingly simple concept and develop layers of depth to that and pack a game with a tremendous amount of content. Can you talk a little bit about how he's done that?
You know, the game it's so frenetically paced and it's just packed with nonstop action. And from a content perspective, there's just so much in the game. And one really unique feature of the game is its control mechanic, which is the circle pad, the touchscreen, and the L button. And these three seemingly very simple control styles coming together.
It uses the circle pad in a way that it uses it for movement, but then also with quick slides, it uses that to layer in more complex moves, attacks, and also dodges and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, simple on paper, but there's a lot to master there if you put time into it.
There's air battles and there's land battles, and Pit goes into battle with a weapon. But there's like 9 different weapon types, and then and each one of those kind of changes the way that he plays in each level. But then there's more beyond that.
You know, you have categories like claws or cannons or blades or staffs. Within those, there are different types of claws, different types of cannons. That's a really enticing aspect of the game.
You play the game at one difficulty level. You can go back into a level, up the intensity, and you're going to get more powerful weapons. You can take 2 weapons and combine them to make an even more powerful weapon. Is that
right. Yeah, you've just brought up weapon fusion, which is really cool. But there's also Street Pass. Street Pass is big in this game, and it totally expands the depth and the breadth of the possibilities when it comes to fusing weapons and collecting your selection of weapon.
So how do you typically hold the game when you're playing?
I'm actually a stand guy.
You're a stand guy?
I'm a stand guy. I like to use the stand. So in addition to 6 AR cards that come packed with the game, the stand comes with every copy of the game.
It's kind of like just using that 3D depth slider to find what's right for you. The stand just gives you kind of
Yeah, it's another option to let you find the way you like to play. The multiplayer is something that I'm really excited to see. Put that in the hands of all the players out there now, especially since in addition to local multiplayer, there's online multiplayer up to 6 players, and there's a free-for-all mode in the game, which is pretty self-explanatory. But we're also offering this team-based mode called Light versus Dark.
I don't know if you've heard, but also you can pre-order the game now, and if you pre-order at select retailers, you can get a download code for the 3D Classics version of the original Kid Icarus game.
Pre-order Uprising, get a code.
I am super excited for this game. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Sakurai myself, and I wish we had more time because there's so much depth and content to the game, but thanks for joining me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's great.
So Eric, we hinted that there's a Mario Tennis game coming for Nintendo 3DS. We said that back before the holidays. Today it's official, Mario Tennis Open, launching May 20th. I've been a huge fan of this series since the Nintendo 64 version, the original. This time it's also developed by Camelot, our good friends there. You know, you're the localization producer. Tell me a little bit about what their focus is this time.
Well, it's really a classic Mario sports title, and I've also been a huge fan of the series for a really long time. And I think part of the reason is because these are games that are really fun for everyone. You know, no matter who you are. If I'm kind of a hardcore gamer. I've always loved the series from the depth that you get from it. But if you're just picking it up for the first time, it's really easy to play.
Play control in this series has always been really tight. I understand. You know, I think this time the focus is really more on kind of fast-paced, sort of intense rallies. Is that correct?
Well, it's actually a really fast-paced, quick-paced kind of action. I think one of the best elements of the series has always been just these really intense rallies that you get into when you're playing. You know, as the shots go back and forth and on, it kind of the tension raises as you're trying to win your points. And there's definitely some head games that get in there, especially when you're playing against other people.
If you're not all that well versed in terms of how the different shots behave, or maybe not that great at controlling with sort of those standard button controls, what options do you have?
Yeah, really simple controls. They're easy to pick up, but it's a surprising amount of depth that you can get out of those controls. But you know, if you're not familiar with those controls, or you want to use maybe new to the series, you can also use a touch screen to tap certain shots. You know, if you want to pull off a slice and you're not sure how to do that with the buttons, you can just tap the touch screen to hit that right away. And one other cool feature that we have is a feature that uses the gyro, and it actually enables you to look at your Nintendo 3DS and tilt it, and you can basically look around the court, and the view is down, as if you were on the court itself.
Obviously, the Mario Tennis series has really, up until now, been about sitting down together with your buddies and playing together in the same room. Mario Tennis Open?
Oh, you can definitely do that. I mean, you can play local wireless with up to 4 people. You can also play for the first time online, which is
nice.
Really huge, and I have to tell you, that's where it's at. That's where all the action is. You can play online with 2 to 4 friends, with your friends, and essentially playing singles or doubles play. But you can also play an open match, which and in that mode, you can basically, it pits you against other players of similar skill. And,
nice.
And so it's an automatic thing. You're constantly able to jump in and play a quick match, but you're earning things like victory medals by defeating other players. There's monthly leaderboards that you can kind of be a part of, and player rating. You're always trying to build up and go back to playing online.
Obviously, we'll be talking more about the game between now and launch. It sounds like we've only just scratched the surface. Thanks for sharing what you could today.
It was great talking to you, Bill.
It's good talking to you too.
A while back, we asked you to go to Facebook and vote for the artwork that would wind up in the packaging for the upcoming Wii release, Xenoblade Chronicles. The polls are now closed, and I'm here to reveal the winner. Let's take a look. I must say, this was my favorite too. Thanks to everyone who voted. And while the polls are closed, the action is yet to begin, with Xenoblade Chronicles arriving on April 6th. If you ask me, Classic Controller Pro is the best way to experience this title. Xenoblade Chronicles is a massive, open-world role-playing experience that's just begging for players to dive in and experience everything it has to offer. The game was met with incredible praise, as well as numerous Game of the Year nominations from press when it recently launched in Europe. If huge, open-world experiences and spaces that are larger than life are up your alley, this is the game you don't want to miss. We have one last announcement to share with you today. And for many of you, we've saved the best for last, the last story to be specific. If you follow RPGs, you know that this is one of the greatest. Coming from Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi, it will be on store shelves this year, coming to you from our publishing partner, Xseed Games. The Wii adventures keep on coming, and great new games for Nintendo 3DS will be launching at a great pace over the next few months. Aside from what we've talked about today, remember there's also fantastic releases new to the Americas in this month alone. Don't forget about Resident Evil Revelations, Mario and Sonic at the 2012 Olympic Games, Tekken 3D Prime Edition, and Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D, all available in stores now. And if Resident Evil Revelations has you in the mood for more handheld horror, you won't want to miss the augmented reality-driven scares of Spirit Camera: The Cursed Memoir, launching for Nintendo 3DS on April 13th, Friday, April 13th. Lastly, beyond the highlights you've seen today, full-length versions of many of the game videos shown here are available on our YouTube channel and on Nintendo.com, including a comprehensive overview of Icarus Uprising featuring Mr. Sakurai himself. That's it. Until next time, happy gaming.